is up, Daddy Gang? It is your founding father, Alex Cooper, with Call Her Daddy.
Hunter Schaefer, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Thank you so much.
I am so happy you're here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Like I just told you, not the vape.
Not the vape coming out as you're like, thank you so much.
This is how comfortable I'm feeling right now. So, but this means the world to me. I just have to start off and say, because my sister, who you've graciously let in this room, put me onto your podcast during the pandemic, and we were gagging, and I'm so excited to
I love
be
you.
here today.
Okay, little do you know, I really love you because I have to tell you a story.
Okay.
So I think it was a year ago. We were this close to each other and you had no idea probably. We were in Milan and I was sitting with
Were you at the Prada show?
Yes.
I do remember seeing you there. Okay.
This is
Were you there?
Okay, Hunter's sister is in the room and she's saying she saw me freaked out. Okay, this is why life is so fucking stupid because I was standing with my videographer and I was like, oh my God, it's Hunter. And he was like, go say hi to her. And I was like, no, like that's weird. And he was like, no, go say hi. I'm like, no. Like I believe one day we are going to meet in a non like weird or like moment where I'm like fangirling.
That's totally how I feel about people too, like that I gag over.
Yes.
Is like if I know that we are gonna, because you have that feeling about people sometimes where you're like, I know I'm gonna kiki with this person. I'm like, I don't want to fuck it up.
But I'm so happy you're here. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by T-Mobile. When it's time for a big, juicy gossip session with one of my friends, I need a reliable way to get all the tea. And by tea, I mean T-Mobile, okay? Having more 5G coverage means getting 5G signal more often. And as someone who is constantly on the go, it is so nice to have a reliable network that I can count on. Being a T-Mobile customer also means that I have access to a ton of perks like concert tickets, skipping lines at events, and free in-flight Wi-Fi so I can keep posting from the sky. That free in-flight Wi-Fi has been key lately because we are trying to find my best friend Lauren a man on every flight we take, and I have to keep the Daddy Gang updated live with our progress. T-Mobile also has VIP Club Magenta lounges that offer free drinks for T-Mobile customers, and you guys know I can't say no to a free dirty martini. So, Daddy Gang, kick your old carrier to the curb. It is time to block their number. Then go and hit up T-Mobile when you're ready to really be taken care of. Check out the VIP treatment at tmobile.com/benefits. Okay, tell me about your outfit. How did you pick this outfit? We're loving it.
Okay, thank you. This is like, well, we were just talking about this kind of is like, I always feel like the image that I put out into the world, like on Instagram, whatever, is like very much like the drag version of who I am. And it's like an image that I've put together to like give to the world. And like, that is not how I dress and act in real life. And so, but like this, I feel like your podcast is very about like
cozy.
Let's like give realness. Yes. And this is I picked shit up off the floor and put a little stupid outfit together. And that's what this is.
It's really cute. And I'm happy that you're comfortable. And that is the key here, like coziness.
Yes. And RuPaul also, bitch. Okay. Can I just say that interview, like face cracked me. Like that interview impacted me so much, and also I lived for her outfit, for her give with the oh my God.
It was so incredible because I remember like you're kind of talking like similar with like Rue like presents a specific way and has these like cunt outfits that you're like,
this is what I'm talking about.
Bitch.
Yes.
And I remember when Rue showed up, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember the rep was like, no, Rue really wanted to show up today just as like Rue.
Yeah.
And this is what like Rue would be wearing like around Rue's house. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I love that you came just like cozy today.
Thank you.
You just bought a new house like this year?
Yes. I heard you did too.
Yes.
Okay.
How is it going?
Girl.
Oh my God.
Girl. Okay. So I've been looking for a house for a few years now. To be 100% honest, I didn't grow up with it's a very surreal thing to be like making significantly more money than like anywhere where I came from, like my parent, with anything that I grew up with.
Yep.
We're just pretty regular middle class, and now I'm like, I have a lot of fucking dough, and I have no idea how to use it, and so it scares me, and so like at some point I had to be like, okay, I need to do something with my money,
My money.
and so yeah, I've been looking for a house. I finally found this beautiful house, and I moved in when September of last year.
Okay.
And I've started on the whole like now I'm going to hire people to make. I tried doing the whole I'm gonna buy furniture by myself. I have no idea what the fuck I'm
It's
doing.
so fucking hard.
Are you doing that?
Oh my God. I literally left it to my husband because like back in the
Your
day.
husband is. You let your husband do it?
No. I know this sounds insane, Hunter, but like Matt has incredible taste.
Okay.
He has like perfect taste. And I'm
Okay.
like, now I just let him do his thing because
Oh my
I'm going to be
God.
honest. I decorated my first New York City apartment where I first lived alone for the first time ever. And I was like, watch me, bitch. Like, this is going to be so gorgeous. I got the couch and the couch sat there for so long. And I'm like, how do you make a space look good?
This.
And I see Pinterest and I see like even Urban
Yes.
Outfitters. Like it looks so cute. And then I buy it and it looks like fucking shit.
Yes.
So then I hire someone. And now I
Exactly.
hired my husband to do it. So
Amazing. Good.
if you
for
want, he'll
you.
come over now.
I wish I had a husband that had amazing taste. That is not my fucking case, Diva. I like, yeah. So I went through the exact same spiral of
Okay.
like, okay, wait, I look at couches and then I'm like, wait, but like, and this is so, I hate, it's so like
It's okay. Go
first
off.
world,
It's okay.
whatever.
Go off.
Like I look at this amazing couch, but then like if I spend a bunch of money on this couch and then but then the carpet
Right.
changes everything.
Like, huh?
Girl, I'm like, I tried, I really tried, and then I was like, no. So I hired
A designer?
So have you seen Troye Sivan's AD
Yeah.
video?
Insane.
Insane. So I hit Troy up, and he was very gracious in connecting me to those people. So they're doing it for me.
God bless.
And we are just getting started. Everything in my house right now is completely covered in sawdust because the roof just got done and it all came through the ceiling. It's insane. So,
Okay. Well, it doesn't maybe matter because you're leaving.
No.
Can we talk about this?
So this is all going to happen while I'm away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me. You walk in here and you're like, bitch, you caught me at a great time. And I'm like, wait, why, Hunter, why? Tell me.
Okay.
What is happening?
Okay. So yes, you have caught me for this interview at I've had a fucking week. My sister knows this.
Okay.
I've had a fucking crazy week. So I got this. It wasn't necessarily an offer, but people, casting people for this TV show came to me like a little over a month ago and asked if I was interested. And I initially, and this is something we'll get into too, is I don't think I feel like I did TV and that was such a great intro to acting.
Mm-hmm.
But since moving into films, I realized I love the film format so much more because TV is so, it's a beast. It's a beast. And so I was really like under the impression with myself that I was not going to do TV again after Euphoria is over.
Okay.
But and so I initially I said, no, I don't think I can. I mean, this sounds really cool, but I just don't think I can do it again.
Okay.
And then so they went off and they tried casting people, and then they came back a little over a week ago and were like, hey, we just want to gauge your interest again because we really think you could be really right for this. And so I was like, okay, I need a meeting with y'all to like show me really what you're trying to accomplish here. It was an amazing meeting, and I was like, fuck, I feel like the universe is like handing me this thing right now. It's not what I thought I was gonna give, but I feel like I have to do this. And can I say what it is? It's Blade Runner 2099. So there's the initial Blade Runner from the 80s, and there's 2049 from 2019, and so this is the continuation, 2099 in TV show format. It's very cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's like insane.
Thank you.
And when you have meetings like that, when you say like it goes well, like what do you look for to make you feel comfortable?
Well, yeah. So like the acting thing, this all like I was not looking to be an actor. It's not what I thought I was gonna do with my life.
So crazy.
I still question whether it is. So this week has been this whole process of being like, shit. I am being handed these incredible opportunities on a silver fucking platter.
Right.
And while it might not be why I thought I was put on this earth to do, like this is what I'm being fucking called to do right now.
Right.
And so that's been like a big processing moment, and I think it's really allowing me to like head into this project and just like fully like just dive in head first and like give myself to it, you know.
Okay, I have so many questions of just like how we got here and how you are doing. So you grew up in North Carolina. And obviously that's so fucking different than LA. What is your hometown like? Can you describe it?
Yeah. So it's
your sister is laughing. Why is she laughing? What's so funny?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I fucking hated North Carolina.
Okay.
And growing up there, being queer in the South, anybody who's queer in the South knows it's not fucking easy. It's really culturally, it's in a completely different place than like the bubbles in the cities that we live in. And I always knew that I didn't belong there, and that I belonged in these spaces where I can like be myself and like not feel like there's a target on my fucking back all the time. I really hated it. And like I'm not gonna lie, like growing up there like fucked me up. I have now come to love it because I can return there in all my bad bitchery and like know that I'm fierce and I don't feel like a fucking nuisance for existing in North Carolina now. So I love it now, but growing up there it was tough. I did not like it. Yeah.
What were you like as a kid? Like in this environment, describe yourself.
One of my like I guess afflictions with life is I have never been able to really help but be who I am. And you know, so even before I transitioned, and I transitioned in my first couple years of high school, but before I transitioned, you know, I'm just like, can I say bad words? I mean,
Hunter,
like,
yes,
yeah,
please
like,
say
so I'm
words.
just like this little faggot, like you know, I am like an extremely high femme boy in this, you know, space of like, you know, boys are like very one way, especially in the South. Like it's just culturally what it is. But I mean, it's I'm so thankful that I have not really been given a choice to be anyone but who I am. So I always stuck out like a sore thumb. But I loved like have extremely artistic, pretty happy. I've always had like a pretty easy access to like joy, I think. So like despite my circumstances, you know, I look back on my childhood, and despite being in a certain amount of pain just for being who I am, I was a pretty happy kid, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the South, you're right. As like growing up, if you are queer in the South, like still to this day, it's crazy to say like kids are having a hard time. Even in fucking California, they have a hard time, which is even fucking crazy to say. So when you're growing up in that environment, I know you have 3 siblings and you're the oldest.
Yes.
Being the oldest, was it hard to like open up to your siblings, or were they like there for you? Like what was that dynamic?
I would say the siblings was on the easier end, because I think that I mean, like me and Hannah, like because we're so close in age, so we were in the same schools, and because nobody really understood like what I was doing, I think, you know, we had our trials and tribulations as siblings, and we've taught, you know, we've moved far beyond that now, and you know, my siblings are some of the closest people in my life now. But at the time, I think it was a little tough for everybody, because no one, and not even me, understood what like I was going through and why I stuck out like a sore thumb, and you know, whatever.
But as happy as you were, that like makes me sad for any kid that's like going through something that's like indescribable in your mind at that point. Did you have a hard time in school? Like what was your middle school like?
Middle school was probably the hardest, actually.
Okay.
You know, young teenage boys are pretty gnarly, especially when they are confronted with like a kid who they just don't know what to do with, like they have no grasp of like queerness, whatever it is. So it's like oh, like look at this look at this gay kid, like they just don't know what to do with it, and so they'll be mean, you know. And you know, so that was always tough, just dealing with boys who don't, of course, get it. But I found my cute little nerdy friend group, and and that was like my first experience of like, okay, if I find my circle, I can be myself and I'll be okay. So that was cool. But middle school is also when I realized I was gay, or like at that time I thought I was a gay boy. So came out.
Who did you come out to first?
My friends. So like, and that's the thing of like,
Right.
okay, I have this network of support where even if my parents and don't accept, okay, these people will get me. So they were the first people I told, and then I would, tell my parents, tell my family, whatever.
Your parents, so your dad was a pastor growing up?
My parents are still pastors. Yeah, so my dad is a pastor, and my mom is, she's ordained to be a pastor. She works in the children ministry in the church.
Okay, talk to me about that, because just like thinking of like what you were going through as a young kid, being in the South and having your dad
And
like a part of the
growing
church,
up in
like
the church.
how did that work out?
It's like another layer to it all of and thankfully, I didn't grow up in Catholicism or anything, and I hear about people in my community who grew up in that, and it's like, oh
Hell.
Girl, I'm so fucking lucky that I got to grow up in a normal, even though my parents are pastors and I'm very involved in the church, in like a on the chiller side of Christianity, Presbyterian church.
Oh my god,
because
Catholicism is like
insane.
like you're gonna burn alive.
Yeah.
You're like, I am.
Yeah.
Like,
So there was never like this, oh, you're going to hell. But then I would see things about just Christianity in general where there are churches that like believe you're going to hell.
It's insane.
And so that was this whole complex that I had to get through too. And then, but thankfully when I came out as gay to my parents, I think anybody could have fucking told you by looking at me that I was gay at the time. So that was easier. Then the trans thing came on later on. That was a bit harder. But
did you feel like, not even just you as an individual, like did you and your siblings feel like you guys had this like expectation around you? Like I'm thinking of like TV shows, and I'm like, the pastor, like I'm thinking like Seventh Heaven back in the day. Like I don't know, like did you guys feel like you had to like live up to this like reputation almost?
I think it was there.
Okay.
And this is something that I definitely dealt with later on too in life of like because there's this whole like pastor's daughter like trope, you know, and it gets kind of tough because obviously like what I do now is very like, I mean, my first job, when I had to tell my parents that I was doing a TV show, and in the first episode I'm having anal sex with a 45-year-old and cutting myself in the arm, like all this stuff. And then, but my first thought is like, okay, they have to tell their congregation that their kids are going to be on TV, and then their congregation, who are just, little old nice white Christian people from the South, are going to watch this TV show and see me getting butt fucked. And you're like, and it's like, oh my God. I'm like, I feel to a degree, I still do like feel bad because that's something that they still have to deal with. My movie coming out next in a couple weeks, Kinds of Kindness, which I'm so excited about. My one scene in it, I got my titties out, girl. Like it's like, and I have no personal problems with it, but it is something where I'm like, some people just aren't gonna get it. And that's a whole other thing.
How did your parents react when you told them? And also, like, how do you sit your parents down for that? Like, is it after the dinner table? Is it a phone call? Is it a FaceTime?
Yeah.
Is it a letter?
So I didn't tell them that I was in the audition process because I really wasn't sure that I was gonna do it, because once again, I didn't think acting was my calling or anything. It's not my plan. It wasn't my plan. So I didn't tell them until I had actually gotten the job.
Okay.
Which kind of left them in a situation because it doesn't really give them room to like give their opinions or whatever. But I think they were just like worried because that, they don't come from this world. And sometimes I get really jealous of like my peers in this, this industry that do have like family in it, because I mean, there's pros and cons, but, and for a lot of reasons, I'm really happy that my family is in this completely separate world. But like the guidance part, I think that's what they were worried about. Is I think they, even though they didn't know a lot about it, I think they know the nature of this industry can be very intense, and they just didn't want me to get like fucked up by it, you know?
That's a good point. And it also sucks. Like it's so crazy to think that like your first fucking acting job was Euphoria. Like that is so baller.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I get what you were saying. If your family doesn't come from the industry at all, there's also this like natural judgment of like, are you about to fuck your life up?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, are you making the biggest like decision that is going to like ruin your whole life?
Exactly.
Where like other people that maybe like are more used to it, it's like, this is how it goes. Like, get the role.
I just had to tell them. I had to be like there it is. I think I used the word risque, and I don't think
Hunter. Just like a little
like,
risky.
and then cut to them at the premiere. Like, I don't think my mom could even watch it. Like, it's, you know, it's insane. It's insane.
You're like, oh my God. It's almost like when you watch a movie with your parents that has a sex scene when you're young.
And you're like,
and you're pretending you're like going to get your ice cream at the time because it's so awkward. Meanwhile, you're like, so that's me.
Yeah.
And I can't run away from this. Oh my God. God bless you, honestly. Like, that is strength within
it's
strength.
So
like,
nuts. It's so nuts.
I'm curious though, when you were talking about kind of closing out that like chapter of middle school, obviously everyone needs a fucking outlet of like, I am dealing with all this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I remember reading, like, you said you journaled. I don't know if it was in middle school, but like, what did you do to like feel less alone with all these thoughts?
Well, yeah, I think, and it's just part of my nature too. And I think part of like the pressure cooker that I sort of placed myself in growing up in a place where I was so unhappy with my surroundings is I really like devoted my free time and like my life to like my art, and at the time it was visual arts where I put all my creative energy, but I knew that is like my gift is like I'm an artist, and it's still to this day. Like, I know that that's what I was put on this earth to do, was to like make stuff, but you know, at the time it was visual arts, and so I did everything that I could to just kind of like put all my energy into that. And you know, it ended up being like my first job. Like in high school, my first job was contributing to, you know, making little watercolor comics for an online magazine and stuff, you know. And so that was like, this is what's gonna get me out of here and get me to where I want to be in life, you know. Yeah,
it's so, even hearing you say that, it's so hard in general being a child, but like at that point it just sucks because like there are so many kids that get to live their life and be like not having to escape and get to like go to the fucking playground and like frolic around. You being like, I was trying to like use this as an escape so I didn't have to like deal with like what the fuck was going on in reality.
Yeah.
Then you get to high school. Did you ever like talk to anyone that you felt like actually understood you?
Well, so I mean, this is the thing, is like when the trans thing started coming up, and that kind of started coming up with the onset of puberty, which I was experiencing severe like levels of anxiety that no like, you know, middle school or high schooler should be going through at that time, for especially around something that's, you know, quote unquote inevitable. And I realized that this like wasn't normal. And then I turned to the internet because I didn't even know what being trans was. I had no idea that there were trans people in the world. And that's the kind of isolating piece of like growing up in the South. Nobody talks about it. There's no people in my line of sight that like are this. And then so like I, you know, went to the internet, I looked on YouTube and found out like, oh shit, it isn't my destiny. It doesn't have to be my destiny to become a fucking man and grow a beard, you know, and all that stuff. But then it's the whole thing of like, okay, now that I know that this is my tea, I have to get everybody else on board because I'm still a fucking kid, you know? So that was harder because I didn't know what it was. My parents didn't know what it was.
Right.
And that was a bit harder as far as like, you know, there were moments of like when I first came out where like I told them like I'm a girl and they were like, no, you're not, like, you know, but it's not because I think they've always known like deep down, but like they didn't, there's when you don't know like what it is, like there's no way to like real or I don't know, contextualize that.
Right. It's like the concept, like when you say that, like to actualize it,
Yeah.
like people have a hard time, especially because like you're saying, like no one around you guys, like you could relate to.
Yeah.
So you're coming to your parents with this information, and like obviously some parents are fucking awful when it comes to this, but it sounds like your parents,
They came along.
Right. They
Yeah.
were just like, I don't understand what you mean.
Yeah. And I think they started realizing, because this, when I, with the onset of puberty and everything, is where my first, I've dealt with mental health, you know, for a while now, but that's when it first started showing up is in depression and anxiety, and my grades started fucking up, and I became, you know, kind of, I was becoming a shell of a person, and I think they could see that, and then they were like, shit, okay, this is like, we got to figure this out, you know?
Right. And that's what's like so heartbreaking for houses that like don't accept their child, because it's like, what, like, let them be who they need to be, because you're right, like you're becoming a shell of a person because you're not like who you authentically know you need to be inside, and everything is telling you one thing, and then everyone is like, no, don't do that.
Well, I think it's out of love, like I think it's like, you know, and I think it's like my parents' first reaction was like that, because like they love me, they want me to be okay, and I'm pitching them this insane idea that I want to chop my dick off and become a woman, like, you know, like you know, and that's a very crude way of putting it, but like just sort of like get my point across, like like and I think no one wants anybody that they love to like endure a harder life than they have to, but sometimes that's the fucking tea.
What I love about you, and like even sitting here, your energy is just like so incredible, and I think back to like younger you, obviously like going through it, but like what kind of like traits, I don't know if that's the right word, but like traits do you think like you gained through like having to really like endure a lot of like turning inward within yourself and like betting on yourself and relying on yourself?
Being trans has been one of the great challenges of my life, and it sucks that I had to deal with it so young, and that I live in a world that, you know, is constantly fighting me on that, and it absolutely fucked me up, and I'm still dealing with the ramifications of that today, but at the same time I would not have it any other way, because it has taught me, and it's why I'm so thankful for it, it has taught me that like the power of intuition, and kind of like the proof that I have like a soul, and, you know, and like and that like all the answers are inside of me, you know, and at least for my truth and my life and whatever, and like that is like priceless, and it's something that I use as, you know, a grounding force in everything that I do in my life now, you know, so I'm so thankful for it, you know.
No, first of all, like thank you for sharing all that, because I know it's personal, and I really appreciate you opening up, because like when you're saying the intuition thing within yourself, it almost like made me cry, because I'm like, that is so fucking real. And so many people watching this are probably gonna like,
that's why I want to share this stuff.
It's incredible. And like just sharing your experience, like that is like so powerful to be like, lean the fuck into what you feel. Stop listening to what everyone else is saying. I know it's so fucking hard. But when you can start to channel that, like we all know what's best for ourselves.
Exactly.
No one else does.
And you can even like it's so weird, like your layers of like consciousness and everything, because you can totally on surface level be telling yourself something is right for you, when in reality deep down, and you know it's there, but you won't look at it, like you're only looking at this thing that you're telling yourself, but deep down you know, you always know, you know,
and you can try to avoid it sometimes. You're like, that's literally not
and you literally put yourself in your own psychosis of like believing in this reality that is not actually your
so
truth.
real.
It's so crazy.
I also appreciate, like, as we're kind of just going through your life, I wonder, and you don't need to answer, but like, is it annoying sometimes, because like a big part of your life is like this moment that you realize like, oh, like I don't know if I'm like happy with the way that I was like born, and I want to be this way, and like I'm so happy with myself now, but like, is it annoying when you're in interviews that like Like
I've talked about this before
because I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to ask you about it. That's why I was like, oh, we got to high school in your life. Like, what happened in high school? Like, I would ask anyone on the show, and I hope you know, like, you can talk about it as much or not as much as you want. But like, are you like, can we move on? Like, I'm this like,
so I thought about this today because I just recently had an interview come out where I fucking. This was the longest interview I've ever done. It was 2 like 4-hour sessions, and so I really just I was hyped up on caffeine. I was yapping. I was talking about whatever I wanted to, and I gabbed about how fucking frustrating it is to because like in interviews for like press things when I'm promoting a movie or something, it's oftentimes the first thing an interviewer will ask about because it's what makes me unique and they know that it'll get clicks, you know. But what's frustrating to me about that is I'm here to promote my work in a movie that has nothing to do with that, and you are just fishing for things that will get you clicks. And that's what's so frustrating to me about that. This today, when what I love about this podcast is that you like we're talking about real shit and life and whatever, and I can't really talk about my life in full honesty without talking about it. And it is something I do believe, because I didn't really, fame is something that I'm like I didn't really, I knew what I want to do like with my life often involves fame to some degree. It's not something that I thoroughly enjoy, but I do feel like I have been put in this position in order to help progress like the movement.
But do you ever feel exhausted from that? Like it's not your fucking job to educate people?
All the time. Like, all the time. And that's the thing. I don't like talking about like just like educating people on like the fact like bitch, Google is like literally that's how I learned about it. So you can certainly do it too. But as far as like my experience and also helping other young trans people who might watch this or watch some of my other work, which sometimes I do incorporate my transness into my work, you know, that's who I'm doing it for, you know, too.
Yeah, I feel like there's a difference between like genuinely and authentically just like speaking about your experience and people are like, oh, like I like what she said there, versus being like, so Hunter in high school, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ,
I'm like, promoting the Hunger Games. Why are you asking me about what it was like being a tranny growing up in the church? Like what the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, no, I respect that, and I just wanted to hear from you because I bet it's fucking annoying. Speaking of high school, did you like dabble with drugs and alcohol at all? Were you like pretty clean? Like,
so, and that's something that I think the church thing that I'm pretty thankful for is I did, you know, I would smoke weed with my friends, and now I've come to learn I fucking hate weed. Is not for me. I cannot smoke it, and I had this really horrible experience with it, like when I was like 18, 19 or something, where I smoked and I literally thought I was in hell, and then I've never done it again. So I'm like really off of it. That's the only thing that I kind of dabbled with. And then like, you know, drinking here and there, but never really getting into it. That's been more of like a early 20s thing, you know.
You need to be like in your room, like by yourself, or that could be scary, or with one friend that you trust. And like ease in.
Yes, because that's my thing with weed is like, because some people can just smoke and just like kiki, and bitch, that is not how, like when I have smoked weed in the past, I become nonverbal. I'm on the floor and like a creature. Like that's just when I have smoked, that's my tea. That's what I give.
Terrifying.
And you can't do that around, especially people you don't know. Then you're gonna like psych yourself out. And
like Hunter, you're like,
I'm just like no.
And also they're like, it's weed. Like it's not that deep. And you're like, it is that deep.
It is that deep. I think weed is one of the most psychedelic drugs on the fucking planet. I mean, that's a stretch, but like literally. It's I think it is very psychedelic.
Okay, let's talk about Euphoria. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by eBay. This is what you do when you have high standards and fancy all the fancy things, like a Dior saddlebag or that diamond tennis bracelet, you go to eBay. There you'll find new loves that will never disappoint, expertly authenticated, whether it's that vintage pearl necklace or brand new ruby earrings, a Prada crossbody bag, or classic watches like that Rolex Oyster or that Cartier tank. On eBay, there are no limits to your high standards. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved vintage and rare fashion. eBay, things people love. Okay, let's talk about Euphoria.
Okay.
I think I read somewhere, but like I don't know if you've ever actually like told the whole story like on a show where I can hear you.
Yeah.
Tell me the story of how you got the role and like how it all came to be.
I was taking a gap year.
Okay.
And modeling in New York at the time. I got scouted over Instagram, blah, blah, blah. I go to model. I'm like, I want to make some money. That's not what happened, by the way. But I left modeling in debt. But
you can dream.
That's another story. Anyways, I'm doing like my model give. And you know, right as I'm getting ready to like go to college, because that was my plan. I was gonna save up money, whatever, go to college. Then this casting call comes about, and I see it floating around on Instagram, and then my agency tells me that they have asked me to come in. And so this happened with, there are a handful of trans girls working. There's a lot more now. There's like a handful of trans girls working in modeling at the time. We had all gotten asked to come in for this audition. And I was really like, I don't know, because it's like trans and it's, you know, not written by a trans. I'm like, I don't know. And then, but I go in because they really want me to, and because I'm like, okay, let's just like see what this is about. And I went in, and by the way, I've no acting experience. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I got in, and the great thing is that they essentially just wanted me to play myself. So I got to basically just like be myself with lines. And I think that whatever it was, it worked for them, you know, so I keep getting callbacks. Eventually they fly me out to LA for like a final audition, in front of all these HBO execs in this crazy room. And then I find out later that afternoon that, I got the role. And, you know, and I was still teetering on like, was not my plan, and this changes everything. And I have to be completely honest. Then I saw the paycheck, the per episode, and I was like, this is more money than I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I don't think I can say no to this. And frankly, at that point, I had also read more of the episodes. I really liked the show, you know, so it's a combination of those things. And I really liked the showrunner Sam. We had really good meetings, and I was like, okay, I feel like, and it's the same thing that keeps happening where I'm being handed this thing. I think I have to take it. And so I did.
It's so crazy that like you had no interest in fame, and obviously like I'm assuming like once you took the show, you guys didn't know it was gonna be like what it was gonna be. So
well, I think we all knew it was something special when we were making it. We all like, we loved the first season. Oh, it was so magical. Like we all loved it so much. And we still like, we look back on it as like, wow, like we all got to grow up inside of this thing together. It's really special. But yeah, we didn't know that it was going to become what it did. Yeah.
Can you like take me to that moment where you're like realizing like the show's out, fame is happening, everyone knows your name? Like,
yeah, it's one of the most surreal things I've ever been through, because it's because you're still the same person. So I'm still the same person, but then the entire world's relationship to you changes like that. And it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really, it threw me for a fucking loop. Yeah. And thank God the cast and I came up in this together, and we were able to like lean on each other in this just like really surreal experience. Because I don't know how I could have fucking handled it if I didn't have them. And, you know, like particularly Z, who's one of my best friends in the world to this day, Zendaya. and she, you know, thankfully she had some experience with fame already, and we were really close by the time we really like kind of, you know, fell in love with each other as friends in the first season, and she was able to help me through all of that too. But it was very surreal, and I wouldn't say I had no interest in fame, because I knew fame could get me the things that I wanted to do in life, and I knew that could be a tool, but it's not like I had any and I still don't really have any personal, like, I don't personally gain anything from it. If anything, it's just like made existing in public a little harder as a socially anxious person. But like, but it's an amazing tool to like get what I want and to make what I want happen.
No,
you know?
It's so interesting you say that, because people always say like, oh, people think they want fame and money, but if you just hand them money, then they actually don't even need the fame.
That part. Right. Because like, bitch, if I could walk away from all of this with the money and not have, life would be perfect.
And some people like it. Like, I get that. But like,
yeah, some people do. And some people are meant for it. Some people were like, this is what you were supposed to do, diva.
Do you have a moment where you were like, found yourself like very overwhelmed by it all, and you like were shutting down?
So I remember some of the first moments of getting recognized in public happening. Like, I think me and Barbie were at a cafe, and you know, the first like 4 episodes or something were out, and it hadn't really started. But then but we're just at a cafe minding our own business, and then we have people start coming up to us, and it's the first time this has ever happened to me, and it's just really surreal. And then I think the moment that I really realized things were changing was I was in New York doing press, and it's one of those interviews, I forget what it's called, but it's like kind of public, because they do the interview in this like corner glass
thing. Like the Today Show vibe,
no,
where it's like
the Today Show,
but like people can see you.
People can see you from the inside. And you know, so I walk in to do this interview, and everything's kind of normal, and then by the time I come out from doing the interview, a crowd and paparazzi have amassed, and then we get followed around, and my mom is there with me too, and we get followed around by these paparazzi for the rest of the day. And just coming from what I come like, and it was, I couldn't fucking process it. And it's scary, because like getting followed and having people scream at you and stuff, it puts you in like a fight or flight. Like it's like because you know, you can understand on a surface level what's happening, but your body doesn't know that,
and you feel like you're in a cage, because you're like, well, I can't open my car door.
Exactly.
So you're just kind of like, I'm sat.
Yeah.
Is your mom like, what the fuck?
I think I mean, my mom was great, because I think she knew that I was really overwhelmed, so she was just there for me. Yeah. But I think we both at the end of that day were just like, what the fuck
just
like,
happened?
Yeah. And then, you know, it's kind of never been the same since.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing, like, you're like, I'm a socially anxious person. So like, naturally, this isn't something that I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Like, how do you, in moments where your life is feeling too Hollywood, like, how do you come back to being like Hunter yourself, not like Hunter Schafer, like Prada, Vogue, all the things?
Yeah. And it's taken a while, but I've created this dichotomy between the Hunter Schafer that I give to the world, and then like Hunty, who that's what my friends call me and everything. Like those are two different people. And so like the famous Hunter, is kind of like my drag, and having those be separate is so important for my fucking sanity. Yeah. And it's also, it's one of my greatest gifts in this life is I have wonderful, wonderful friends and family. And they're people, a lot of them have been around before I got famous, and so they know me, and you know, can't really project my drag onto me. Like they know me for me. And so having them there is just amazing. Like priceless. Yeah.
That's amazing that you've like been able to figure that out pretty quickly, because that takes some people like a really long time.
It was not quick.
Right. Okay. Well, even though like you don't think it's quick, some people literally get to the point where like at the end of their career, they're like, I should have like disconnected more. Yeah. And I do think, thank God you have your friends and family that are like, you're Hunty, bitch.
Yeah.
And don't forget it. Okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to treat you like you're just Hunty and you're
Yes.
not Hunter Schafer. And we're not going to treat you different because
Exactly.
that causes people to become monsters, that they're like, do this for me and do this for me. And then you're not even a real human. You're a robot.
No, you're like, yeah, it's psycho, and it's sad to watch because we do watch it happen to people
A
sometimes.
lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have to ask, is season 3 happening? Like, what are we doing?
Girl. Obviously I like the real tea is I have no
idea.
fucking idea what's going on. And you can ask literally all of the cast. And it's here's the real tea is that a lot has happened. But at least for me and knowing where the rest of the cast is at and everything too, a lot has happened. We have had and it's hard to talk about, but we've had deaths. Girl, I'm gonna get emotional.
Okay.
And it's I think everyone feels a certain sense of sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Anticipation for like if we are supposed to do this season 3 of like obviously I'm still coming to qualms with what's happened and losing people that we really loved and were a part of this family and everything, and I think if we do go back, it's that's gonna be tough. And I think there's a world in which we can channel that into making it a beautiful season 3 if it is supposed to happen, but I think that shit really threw everyone for a loop. So on an emotional level, and then there's all these industry whatever political things that go into whether or not this is happening, but that's emotionally I think where a big part of what's happening too.
I'm so fucking sorry, and like it clearly, like, you were obviously so close when you even talk about the cast. I'm just so sorry because like when you talk about like this rise, like this became like your family.
Yeah.
Like these are people that you were like, fuck, I don't know how to handle this. None of us know how to handle this. Let's all lean on each other. So like, I can't imagine. And I'm so sorry. And like,
thank you.
There is no right or wrong whether you guys come back or don't. Like it's been one of the most incredible rides. And you guys have done such an incredible job. And like, thank you for giving your life to something that has like really brought so many people like entertainment and happiness. And like, there's a lot of themes that I think people have like loved that are very progressive and have just like helped a lot of people. So whether it comes back or not,
thank you.
We love you all.
Thank you.
And we support you.
Thank you. And thank you for being real with me and letting me give my emotional teas and whatever, because I'm still in it, girl. It's crazy.
Grief is a motherfucker and it's not linear.
insane.
And some days you'll see a picture in it.
I know.
Or like a thing in the street and you're like,
it'll hit me on the fucking toilet out of nowhere. It's just like, it's crazy.
You never know. Call Her Daddy is brought to you by the original Peacock film Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. You heard that right, Daddy Gang. Our girl Bridget is back for one last chapter. Renee Zellweger returns to her role as the iconic rom-com heroine that defined a genre. Now juggling 2 kids, going back to work, and the world of online dating, Bridget is just as endearing and hilarious as ever. Also, back are fan favorites like her best friend, Shazzer, Dr. Rawlings, and yes, Hugh Grant as the charming yet devious Daniel Cleaver. Of course, Bridget wouldn't be Bridget if she weren't once again caught between 2 hot love interests played by Leo Woodall and Chiwetel Ejiofor. So pour yourself a drink, don't forget the tissues, and make it a movie night with Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, streaming only on Peacock. Okay, I'm going to shift our energy and we're going to play Would You Rather.
Oh, shit.
And then we're going to get into dating.
Okay, yeah. Okay. We're reorienting.
Okay. Here we go. We're going to play Would You Rather. Mm-hmm. Would you rather wear Euphoria-style makeup every day for the rest of your life or never wear makeup again?
Never wear makeup again. Easy. No shade to Euphoria makeup.
No,
I just am a no makeup girl.
Love it.
Yeah.
You're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay. Would you rather send a nude to the wrong person or accidentally send a sext to your mother?
That's insane, Alex Cooper. That's such a fucking crazy question. I would. Well, it depends on who's getting the nude. Because like my friends and I, like we get, they see me naked. It's no big deal.
You maybe like you send it to an
But
ex.
what if I fucking send it to my mom? Then that's might just be as bad as the sex. You know what? I think, my mom has seen me get butt fucked on television. I think she can handle an accidental sext, and we can recover from that.
I love that. That says so much about you and your
mom. What would you do?
Honestly, I guess I was going to say the nude, but again, it depends who it's to. Because if like I'm looking cute, I'm like, like it's like accidentally send it to an ex. I'm like,
yeah.
But
right. That's,
right? You're like,
yeah.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's to like a coworker
or like a producer, an executive, oh no, ma'am,
awful.
Absolutely not.
I think my mom, depending on the level of the sex, like if it's like a choke on your cock situation, I'm like, Mom,
this is such a crazy question.
I wrote it. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
I pray for both of us that we never have to deal with that.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too. What is your opinion on sexting?
It's like I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
I've had cute moments with it. It's never ideal, I would say.
It's exhausting.
It's
for me personally.
I personally hate texting in general.
Done.
If we're gonna talk, FaceTime me. I'm a FaceTime girl. So the texting, no.
Have you ever reused a nude?
Absolutely.
The best.
Absolutely.
Perfect use of your time.
Yes.
You're like, ooh, let me go into the storage closet.
Yeah.
Let me pick out which one I'm loving today.
Go to the library, pick it out. Yeah. Get that shit out there.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Drunkenly hook up with a friend who has feelings for you and you don't have feelings back. Or you have to get back with your most recent ex for a month.
Okay, actually, you know what? No, like my friendships, especially a lot of I come from a lot of lesbians in my circle. And I don't know how many lesbians you've talked to, but most of everybody has already had sex with each other and probably will again. And that is very much the case for me in my like lesbian friend group. So that would probably be no problem if that happened. Again.
Have you ever hooked up with a friend and regretted it?
I don't know. I don't really regret too much.
Okay.
No, I've definitely like drunkenly done things where I'm like, ooh, girl, like that, like that didn't need to happen. But it's not
right.
no shade, no nothing.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
What is going on in your dating life? Are we single
right now?
Are we dating?
No, I am single as fuck.
Okay. Are you loving it?
I am loving it. So yeah. So I mean, like I think it is perfect for where I'm at in life right now. Because especially given this past week's stuff where I am about to undertake this enormous project. And the last time I did it, I was in my first relationship when I first started Euphoria. And I didn't know going into it how much of me it takes, and I really live in that world when I'm doing it, and like that relationship didn't end up working out because I just had no capacity to like do a relationship. So I think it is so perfect that I am single as a Pringle right now, because I get to just dive in head first into this.
It's amazing.
But yeah, my last relationship was like, I don't know. It's where we hit the year mark a little bit ago.
Okay.
Since we broke up. So yeah.
Do you prefer someone in the industry or not in the industry?
It's not really it's still tough, and I still like don't totally know, but because I've done both. And they both are really nice for their own reasons, because obviously, and I have this with my friendships too, where like I my job and my life that I live requires me to be on standby all the time. I found out that I'm spending the rest of the year in Europe like not even a week ago. And it, you know, it's like it's hard to maintain relationships. And so the people that have stuck around in my life know that I operate on this level where like, you know, and it's all like my best friendships are like this, where like we can go a month or however long and not talk, and then when I come back or when they come back, we can pick right back up where we left off. That's how I operate in my relationships. I like, it's just how it is right now. And so like with the relationships too, it's like it's nice dating other people in the industry because they also work like that,
right? So they get it. Like they're not going to be annoyed that you're like leaving for a certain amount of time.
Because I've had friendships end because they're just like, girl, like
where are
what's
you?
Where are you? Yeah.
Like, I have work.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What is the best first date you've ever been on?
Best first date I've ever in. So the dates is like not real. I'm just now getting into like the era of my life where like I'm an adult and I feel like more like the idea of someone asking me on a date or me asking someone on a date, like a first date where you go to dinner and you like get to know each other. Like I haven't done a whole lot, like a lot of like my previous stuff is like we start out as friends or random hookup, blah 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 blah. Right. And then it turns into whatever it is. But I would like the dating thing. It sounds fun.
Take note, okay?
Did you go on a first date with your husband?
I did. It was like the best first date I ever had.
Yeah.
Which is annoying because I hate that. Like I feel like some dates could be great first dates and then they like turn out to be fucking shit. Mm-hmm. It turns out that he wasn't a dick. He actually was a lovely guy and I ended up marrying him. But I've had good first dates, but I've had awful first dates before. I also think like it is more normal sometimes to just like go from friends and then all of a sudden you're just like hanging out at your house, your apartment, and like that's fine too.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it where like after a first hookup you're like, oh my fucking God, the chemistry was so insane. Like I must see this person again.
Yeah.
So you've had that before.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that tends to be
Boy
when
vibe.
Those like what will turn into a relationship. Yeah.
Okay. Who is currently your celebrity crush?
Oh God. Oh God. Let's see. Who is
not offensive to say that you won't have to run into next week?
Oh no. Let's see. Alex, I don't know. I can't like say this stuff.
Actor?
I'm trying to think.
Musician.
No, well, I have a type.
Okay. Oh, what's your type?
I love a musician.
True.
I've dated a couple now.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
I've dated a few now. I love a musician.
One with like long hair, one with like short hair.
It's like the little sucker in me that's just like, oh my God, you are so charismatic and you will play the guitar, whatever. And I'm like, goo goo gaga.
Has anyone ever written you a song?
Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah. Oh, and trust me, they know what they're doing too. They know what they're doing with that, but it works, Diva. Oh my God.
Like on the guitar, just like sitting on the bed.
Yeah, or like, send it to you and, yeah, it's, it works. I fear for anyone who has this happen to them because you're done. You're gone.
You're done.
Yeah.
If you meet another musician, do you think you're going to be like, I have to break the curse and the pattern, or are you going to go back? Are you talking to any musicians right now? Like, if you find a musician that you like again,
yeah,
are you going to just go right back in?
Oh, girl. I mean, no. So like the thing that's tough with musicians, or at least in like my line, or like with successful musicians who are like doing tours and stuff, is like it's. I mean, I guess it's the same thing with actors where they have to go off for however many months and tour. Right. And then I'm working for how it's like, it's very hard. So I don't know if that is like in my path again, because I've done it and I've tried it and really tried to make it work. And it's just very hard. And I don't have, at least at this point in my life, I don't have the capacity to like figure out how that works. Maybe someday though. We'll see.
Do you like how I like let you off the hook? I'm like, okay, you don't have to answer.
I'm like, I really
okay.
wanted to give an answer.
You'll
but
tell me
it's
after.
like,
You'll tell me after.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you fall in love easily?
So like falling in love is like so like I'm still like figuring out like what it means, because I've been in love with people who are like still some of my best friends to this day, and like we were definitely like in love at that point, but it's changed in its nature, and I still love the shit out of this person, but it's not like that infatuation thing. So I feel there's a part of me that's like, is being in love like just a deep infatuation, and then like that sort of subsides, and then it just becomes like you just love this
person.
I don't know. It's sort of funny, but I know what being in love. It's like a whole body, like you know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
but I think that makes sense. I think you're like at that point in your life where you're like experiencing these relationships.
I've been through it enough now.
Yes, but like you may find someone at some point that you're like, oh,
yeah,
wait, that is different than infatuation.
Right.
That's when you'll know, is when you're like, oh, wait.
Yeah.
Because love for me when I was younger, like it really, I went through a point where it was just infatuation. Then I was like, is this love or is this infatuation?
Right.
And then I think when I met Matt, I was like, oh, this is like different.
Yeah. With my past relationships, I've been like, we were in love. Like, I know what that is. Yeah. And it's confusing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, because it feels different with every partner also.
Yeah. And I also don't believe in like one true love necessarily.
No, I completely agree. How do you handle when people like public opinion on your like romantic relationships?
That is something that I have learned is so my last relationship was my first public relationship. I don't know if I'll ever do it again. At some point when you're doing it, it gets just too hard to like, I mean, you can try to hide it, but like whatever. But I've also come to this point just with fame in general where like people are gonna say what they're gonna say, and I really don't give a shit. Because like, you know, I get called a man hundreds of times on the internet every single day. It's like I'm so used to like the just fucking idiots just like saying bullshit all the time. So like it's, you know, on one hand it's like I don't care, and then on another hand it's like, if you don't like, obviously a relationship is like personal and private, and like you should not be, you need to eliminate as many factors that are going to make it more complicated than it needs to be if you can. So I don't know, it's something when I start dating again or something, I'll
well, I think it's interesting too, like you said, like this was your first like public relationship, and I think there's pros and cons where you're like, finally we can just like be, and like we can go into an event together like as we would want to naturally do, but then you're like, people are taking pictures and then people are staring, and then when you break up, someone like me is asking you about it, girl. And then you're like, Alex, don't ask.
Well, no, I'm excited to be talking about love and everything. Like it's not like things that I don't want to talk about necessarily, because I've learned a lot, and something that I really love about all my relationships is I like, you know, even if like bad shit has happened in them or whatever, or they have like fucked me up to some degree or something, that they have all I feel like all of my relationships I've come out knowing that it taught me something about myself and about people, and that's like, I feel really thankful for that, you know.
Absolutely. I feel like that's like the best takeaway from any relationship, anything in life, even if it's not romantic. It's a friendship, it's a work relationship. When I was researching you, I was reading something where like your former co-star / relationship, he kind of like talked about like his need for like to get out of like his codependent tendencies. Yes. I'm sure you read this. Yeah. Were you on the same page? Like is a breakup like where you're like blindsided or like were you okay? Like
so like he said that but that breakup was it was like a mutually like it was a mutually agreed upon and it's one of the cleaner breakups I've had, of like we both recognize that this is not working and we can't do this, we gotta go our own separate ways. And it was so hard because we really loved each other, you know, and he's a really special person and I love his soul and everything, and by no means was that relation. It was messy, you know, but
Yeah.
it was a clean parting, and he has a lot to work on, and I also have a lot to work on, like,
Yeah.
and so I think that's also why I'm in this like era of like I gotta figure my shit out, because
Right.
we had a really good thing, but there were things in our own selves that had nothing to do with each other that kept coming up in the way of the relationship, you know? So
100%.
yeah.
What are you like in a relationship?
I think it's different for everyone. Like, it's really different with every kind of person too, because I used to exclusively date not men.
Okay.
And this last relationship was my first relationship with a man, a cis man, you know. And so it's different. It's very different than that, like, dating. I've dated trans women, I've dated trans men, I've dated cis women, and all of it, you know, I've kind of been around the block, and it changes. The transness is really interesting because everyone interacts with it differently. Everyone has their own, like, you know, like way of approaching it, and I have my own way of approaching that relationship with that kind of it's interesting. It's a
Do you
sort of
mind
like code
sharing
switching.
a
Yeah,
little?
no,
Okay.
I'm excited to like talk about
Yeah,
it.
this is interesting.
Yeah. So I'm so thankful for my first relationship.
Okay.
And I've talked about this before too. It was with a trans woman. And it was my entrance into sex, romance, all of that stuff. All of those were firsts in that relationship, and it was with another trans woman. Thank God. Thank God. And I'm so and we're still friends to this day too. You know, she kind of like showed me the ropes, because you know, dating as a trans person is complicated. Let me tell you, it's not easy. And to know in my first relationship and in my first like really being in this mutual love thing, you know, first time having sex, that I got to do it with somebody who completely understands my gender.
It's incredible.
And sexual. I'm so thankful for it. And so I'm really thankful that I started out with other trans people, because there's sort of being trans or having trans people in your life. There's a lens that you sort of acquire, and it's something that like ignorant people who have no idea how to like engage with trans people or think about trans people, they don't have the lens that allows them to see whatever person as the gender that they are presenting as or whatever. And this is a lens that you acquire as you like, you know, spend more time with trans people and everything. And so like knowing that lens is there with whoever I was with, amazing. And then it's interesting branching out from there into like cis people, cis women or cis men, where I'm not sure that they have the lens, even with hookups or whatever. And this is a constant anxiety I've had with hooking up with like cis women or something, is that I'm worried, especially also because I'm pre-op, that maybe are they seeing something in me that is not part of what I give or something, and they might want. And I've had hookups before with like cis women where they wanted me to like fuck them or something, like a guy. Yep. And it's because I have a dick, and like that's like, and then like that coming up in a hookup and being like, oh God, like it's tough. But then you will find cis people who do know and just get it. And that's what was so amazing about my ex-boyfriend, was from the get-go, never a fucking, he saw me exactly for who I was, which is amazing.
It's amazing too. I appreciate you describing this too, because like
it's kind of hard to.
No, but like I'm keeping up with you, because first of all, I'm so happy for you, and I know everyone doesn't have that experience. Is like the fact that you were with someone you felt so safe with, and you were like, oh, you get me because we're similar. So
it's a privilege to come across people in romance and sex and dating where that lens is there.
if someone understandably is like, I don't know, like what you want, and they come to you like vulnerable of like, I really like you, like, are you open to like,
that's such a turn on.
Right.
Oh my God. Like,
tell me what you want.
They are coming because it puts their intention on the table of, oh, I like you. I do want to do this with you. I'm just a little inexperienced here. Love that. Amazing. It's when they don't, and they don't know what they want, or they want something that like, I am not capable of giving, then it's like sticky and gross.
So your first relationship with a guy, like just like a guy that was
also my first monogamous relationship. Okay. Everything else had been polyamorous because that's what I came up in. That's how I learned relationships. And I kind of touched on it before. Yeah. I had built up a complex against men.
Understandable.
And so like, because most, if not all of my deeply painful experiences I've had in life have been with men. And so I really like came into this complex of, I never want to let a man that close to me in my life. I don't see a world in which it's possible. Really, I was kind of like it was, I put up walls and kind of had been denying the fact that I am attracted to men and I do want to date and whatever men, and that's okay, and I need to let my walls down. And so that's what was so amazing about my last relationship too, is also, and that's kind of what was cool about the public aspect, is this is a straight guy who is in the music scene too, and we are in a public relationship. He's dating a trans woman, and he's completely straight. He's only dated cis women before, and he's toting me around, happy to be my boyfriend in front of the world. And people are saying horrible, nasty shit because it's like, you're so he's gay. Yeah. He didn't care at all. And that was something that really showed me too, where I'm like, okay, you really, you see me for, and you love me for that.
Did you guys have conversations before going out in public together? Like, were you anxious at all?
I was anxious, but I was also just head over heels in love and happy to be doing it. And conversations absolutely should have been happening, but also I was like 22, 23, and I was just like, oh, I'm in love. Right. I love this person. This is so much fun. Whatever. So it should have been a thing, but it wasn't.
But I think also just to,
and listen, I've said all these amazing things with him. He was not perfect, and it's no secret. It's out there in the world, and it's part of why the relationship ended. Is I got cheated on for the first time, and he's talked about this too, like in his song. He writes about it, so it's fine to be talking about it today, and it's like part of my truth. But that like fundamentally changed me as a person, and it was this whole process of like realizing that cheating has nothing to do with you
at all,
and it has everything to do with that person and whatever kind of pain they're in or whatever they're dealing with. It's all that, but it's so hard.
I was about to say, because in the moment it feels like it's all about you.
Yes,
you're like, what did I do wrong? And then eventually, I love that you're obviously like a year out. You're clearly at that place where you're like, I can, that, and you're saying it with confidence. But in the moment, you're literally like,
oh yeah, what? And then as a trans woman also, with a man who has never dated that before, then it's my mind, and I knew it wasn't the truth. Yeah. And we both know that. I have no doubt.
But you can't help but your brain goes there.
But my brain, because of the way I've been socialized as a trans woman, like, and it's been this like crux in my life of like why life has been so hard sometimes. I'm like, oh my God, like, is this it? Like, can I just not like, Yeah. But so it's cuckoo bananas.
How did you find out?
So I kind of knew, you always kind of know.
The gut.
Yeah, the gut. And because I kind of knew, I went into the phone, Yeah.
Hunter, welcome to
which I'm not proud of.
I'm not proud of either. I've done it before, but the amount of people that have sat here and been like, it's fucking normal, because when your intuition is like hitting you in the face, you're like, okay, fine, I'll look. Yeah. And the reason you're looking is because you fucking kind of know something.
Yeah. Yeah. And this stuff, it makes me so nervous to talk about this stuff, because I have no interest in letting the public into what
Yes.
happened and everything.
Yeah.
I want to make this very clear. I have absolutely no fucking desire to like because what happened with that was between me and him, and I want to keep it and I want to protect that. But at the same time, I'm also like I'm here to talk about my truth and whatever, you know.
And he wrote a song, and like yes, and I agree with you. I also think like I wish people knew sometimes like some things like are super deep in the moment, and then when you're having a conversation, like there's no ill will. You've literally said like you were in love with this person. It ended amicably. Like it's okay.
And he's the same way about it because he's the same kind of way. Like where I don't think he has any interest in letting the public in either, but we both are yappers at the end of the day, and we're gonna talk about like it's hard doing like the bullshit like
bitch,
I'm putting on a face here, like you know.
Getting over a breakup, like not even specifically talking about him anymore, but like for you and what you were kind of saying, which I think is like a lot for your confidence of like as a trans woman, you're like fuck, like am I not? And you almost like stopped your sentence. You're like am I not like. What came up for you when that happened? Like, am I not?
I mean, it like really, I mean, like I said, it like fundamentally changed me, and it's still something that I am working through. But
what do you mean by
think
that? Fundamentally changed you. What do you mean?
Just in that I don't think I understood, because I had never been in a monogamous relationship before. So my understanding of relationships and love and everything really was rooted in like polyamory and queerness and sort of the way that world works, which is very open. And I think I honestly, I kind of looked at people in monogamy and be like, oh, like you're cheating on yourself, blah, 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 which is also what RuPaul said in that interview. And you were like, no.
I literally was like, Ru, I just got married.
Yeah.
Lay off.
Yeah, I know. And she was like, sorry, bitch. It was
literally looked at me and was like,
sorry.
No. I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. And you know what? I don't know where I totally land on it now. Because I've done both.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think there's validity in both, and it's really a choice, and it comes down to each individual thing. But coming from that as my background and the way I learned love, I really looked at monogamy as like you're shorting yourself and whatever. And then I got into a monogamous relationship. Oh, bitch, I get it. I get it. Like
so nice.
Yes,
so
I know. Oh, I loved it. Oh my gosh. But then it opens up the door for that kind of betrayal, which is a different world of pain.
Were you open to the concept of monogamy? Like, did he initiate or did you initiate, or you both did?
Oh no, I was open to, because you know that's what I'm coming from.
Right,
so
right.
I even like at the beginning, you know, I like we had talked about it, but you know that's not what we either of us I don't think really wanted with that, and you know I think. I mean, yeah.
Are you open to monogamy ever again?
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel like, you know,
I've given up.
I've done both now, and like I know I can be in either of those positions. But I really liked monogamy.
It's fucking powerful.
Too. It's really cool in its own way.
You're like, fuck, I hate this shit. Back to poly. Fuck you.
No, but like now I see the fault in because poly is so much work. It's so much work. Monogamy is so easy because it's just like, it's very simple. It's just like, I mean, you have to communicate a lot in either way, but with polyamory, you bring other people into that and other people's relationships and whatever, and it's fine. But then you have to communicate not only about your own relationship, but about if that's in the contract for you, about the other relationships that are happening and how that weighs and how to balance that with your primary partner's feelings, all that. It's like so much work. Yeah, it's
so much work, and like you're fucking busy.
I'm too busy right now, which is what you know what I said.
That's why we're single.
Or polyamory. I'm too busy right now. But,
okay, let's talk about the new movie that's coming out by the time this episode comes out. Cuckoo.
Right. That's what I'm. That's
why you're here.
That's why I'm here to promote my fucking movie.
I'm like, oh my God. Okay, like monogamy. Like, this is Call Her Daddy. Yeah. And the reason I love having these conversations though is like, I get it. We can do like a press junket of like, no one wants to know more than anything about you. Yeah. And then we want to go see the movie because of you. Yeah. And we film.
And that's why I wanted to do this
Right?
podcast, because I fuck with this. So
I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
A horror movie.
Yes.
Your first lead role?
So this is the first movie I ever got. It's not the first movie that has come out, but
Right.
It's the first movie I ever filmed, and it's my first lead role. And
Are you so excited?
I'm so excited. I love this movie, and it really feels like a baby, and it was my first,
first movie. Okay, horror.
Mhm.
I'm such a little fucking bitch when it comes to horror. I'm literally like,
Yeah.
what's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening? Like, how did you decide on this genre? Like, did you love?
Well, I love horror.
Okay,
I
great.
grew up loving horror.
Great.
And I also think it's so fun stylistically, particularly with this director too. It was less about the genre and even the script and the story. I watched this director's who's Tillman Singer, his first film, and it's his only other piece of work I think that's like out in the world that you can like go buy on Amazon and watch. But it's called Lose, and I saw Lose and I was like, oh my God, I have to work with this person on whatever capacity. And in that audition process, I fought for that role. And I got it. And
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I love this movie.
I know this is probably like a dumb question to ask, but like the process of filming like a horror film,
Mhm.
like me, do you ever get like scared? I'm literally terrified. Like, do you ever? It's not like that though. I'm assuming.
Well, yeah, no, well, no, because there were some scary parts because we were filming in in an abandoned,
No.
yeah, here we go.
No.
An abandoned, like 20-acre post-World War II military village like module
No,
that had
no.
been abandoned for 50 years. We're shooting at night in these abandoned buildings that have just been sitting there for years. That was scary, but thankfully the cast and crew and such a big family.
Right.
I loved making this movie with them. And so, it was so familial.
Yeah.
It was only like when you're like, oh, you have to go walk to your trailer alone and you're like in the woods in the middle of Germany and it's like, bitch, what the fuck? It's kind of scary. But otherwise, no, I mean, I'm, like in the scenes where
You're
I'm
fine.
scared, I have to be scared, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I'm just coming from the perspective where like I'm trying to think of like a movie that you'd be like, why were you scared about that? Like honestly, some scenes in like Vampire Diaries scared me. You know what I mean?
I still haven't seen Vampire
No, it
Diaries.
was great. But like, okay, let me like Halloween Town. Did you ever watch the movie? No.
Oh yeah.
I was
the
scared.
Disney,
Yeah, the Disney movie.
Yeah. No, that was scary. I remember that. Yeah, I remember.
I'm literally so afraid of like, or like on Disney shows, if it was like the like Halloween episode, I'd be like,
oh yeah, no, those were scary.
They were.
Or Twitches. Did you ever watch Twitches and the dark cloud? That
Literally
oh my God, that's
shitting
so
my
scary.
pants.
You
Okay.
remember that? Yeah, girl.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
Oh.
Honestly, like a little pathetic, but I'm so excited for you because obviously you being like having this lead role, like it's crazy this is why I love talking to you because you started this interview being like, I didn't even know if I wanted to be a fucking actress.
Yeah.
And I like get this call and I'm like making no money from modeling and I get that call and I'm like, I guess I'll do it. Now your life has changed. How has your approach, since now you're like getting on a plane tomorrow, right, to go to Europe, like how has your approach changed though to like being an actress?
Yeah, so I, because I was I was like, I was really under the belief for like a few years into it that like, okay, I'm just doing this for right now and it's helping my career, whatever, I'm making money, this is great, but I don't know if this is what I'm supposed to do. And then now I'm in this place where I've because I've been doing it and I get it now, because also you have to know, like I'm learning how to act on the spot with the first 2 seasons of Euphoria and everything.
You're so fucking good.
Thank you.
You wouldn't even know.
Thank you. But like I'm learning. I didn't understand the craft. I had no idea what I was doing, and I finally in that process and in this process of like just like letting this career happen to me, I've fallen in love with the craft, and now I'm at this place where I'm like, okay, maybe this isn't what I thought that I was put on this earth to do, but this is just another form. I get to put all my creative energy that I used to put into my journals and in my art and everything into this. And I understand how that works now. And I've fallen in love with it. So now it's at this great point where I'm like, okay, this is one of my superpowers. This is what I can do. And I love it.
Hunter, I'm going to be honest. This was like one of my favorite
Oh my God,
interviews.
stop.
No, seriously, like sitting across from you, I'm like inspired. And also like, this is why I love what I do, because I've watched you. I see your social media, but like sitting with you for an hour and whatever, like you're fucking awesome.
Thank you.
And like
You
this,
too, girl.
it's just so cool because actresses we don't get to see, and even musicians, like we don't get to see as much obviously of your personality when you're like playing these characters.
We're putting our drag in the world.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
But today, you coming here like stripped down, like being yourself and like opening up, I'm like, thank you so much.
And thank you for giving me I'm nervous about like, showing the world like, my real tea. It scares me, but to do it with you, thank you for making the space and everything and like just being here and kikiing with me. That's what this felt like.
You're amazing. I literally could keep going, but like I know we have to stop, but I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. This was great.